So this morning I'm heading into one of the villages where one of the most incredible acts of soldiering took place on D-Day, and it's probably one you've never heard of. And this is the story of Staff Sergeant Harrison Summers of the 1st Battalion, 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division and his single-handed battle for a village in Normandy. So on the morning of D-Day, Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Cassidy of the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment's 1st Battalion knew there was a lot of work to be done. Around Drop Zone A, there were various German gun batteries that they had been tasked with silencing, and they knew at the village of Les Mézières there was a German garrison for one of those gun batteries. With multiple tasks to carry out and very few men thanks to the misdrops, Harrison Summers and 15 men were tasked with clearing out the German garrison in what would later become known as the XYZ complex. Given the need for this to happen rapidly, Harrison didn't even bother to take the time to learn who was in his squad. He just assembled the men and off they left from the 1st Battalion's command post, which is in that direction, a complex of farm buildings which you can see on the aerial footage. Moving along the field and into the ditch, Harrison thought his men were behind him as he stormed the first building here. Now that wasn't the case. None of his men followed. They all stayed in the ditch. So upon charging that first house, Harrison kicked in the door, took down 4 Germans that were in there, and then the rest bolted out the back door and fled to the next house. Thinking that his squad were behind him, they weren't. He continued on. He had a mission to do and nothing was going to get in his way. Now at this point, as Harrison sprinted to building number 2, which is behind me there, that small building, Harrison started to make short work of the Germans that were inside there. And at this point, Harrison's axe inspired a Private William Burt. He was a 30 cal gunner. He took his machine gun, and as the Germans started laying rounds down, Burt responded in kind with his 30 cal and started to give cover fire to Harrison as he moved into the next buildings. At this point, working through building number 2 here, and then buildings 3 and 4 just here, he continued up clearing Germans as he went, without a thought for his own safety. The rest of the squad at this point were still in the original jump-off position and hadn't moved up to support him. So it was at this point that Harrison took a break. His squad came up and replenished his ammunition, and then an unknown captain from the 101st came up to his position and offered to help him. However, just at the moment they were about to jump off, a stray sniper bullet shot was fired and hit the captain in the head, killing him instantly. So Harrison again was on his own as he continued on his monumental task of clearing out the village of the German garrison. So as Harrison continued his systematic clearance of the village, another member of his squad, being inspired by Harrison's act, came forward, and this was Private John Camion. He was armed with an M1 carbine. As they worked through the buildings, they would take turns. The individual breaching the house would do so with the carbine, kicking the door in, and then whoever was going to clear the room would go in with the Thompson submachine gun and spray the room. As they continued to advance through the village with 2 houses left to go, Harrison breached into one building and found the most incredible sight. There was 15 Germans sat eating a meal. Without giving it a second thought, he hosed the room down, and the Germans didn't have a chance to react. So after the assault on the final building was made, just over 30 prisoners were taken. The rest of the Germans that had been here had seen the end of their war in this village. As a result of Harrison's actions here, he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross and given a battlefield commission. I hope you've enjoyed the story of the Battle of the XYZ complex and the actions of Staff Sergeant Harrison from the 1st Battalion 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment. If you have and you want to see more content from World War II Wayfinder, please don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and just tap that notification bell for new content when it's released on this channel.